Hey everyone, welcome back. I hope you're doing well and staying safe. I wanted to start up the next set of series that'll be coming here, and that's Captain Skills. I decided to pick Untitled and go through the Captain Skills, and I'm going to start it off today with Destroyers. Destroyers are near and dear to my heart. I love DDs. But let's go through the Captain Skills, and some of them I'm going to go straight down and some across. So let's start off with the first one, Grease the Gears. Love this skill set, especially with Destroyers when you look at the Leningrad Tier 8, or in this case I'm on the T61. If you have slow turret speed and you have a specialty captain, including the ones I showed you about earlier, makes a big difference. This is a plus 20%, so it gives you an extra 20% in the ability to turn your guns, which in a Destroyer, if you're not cutting away or in a battle, it's kind of hard to do. Guns are everything in Destroyer, and torpedoes. But next one is Liquidator. This one I love as well. I take this on just about all my Destroyers. It gives me an extra 30% chance of starting a flood. Even if I don't kill something, I do put a flood on it. Now, for the torpedo skills, I'm going to go straight down, because they're all related, especially for Japanese Destroyers. This is pretty important for most of the Destroyer line. You got Swift Fish. Increase the torpedo speed by 5%. Why not? Most torpedoes, they're in the mid to high 50 knot range, and then you can get into, I think about it, some of the Japanese ones are in the 16, sometimes just the low 70s. The Ikea or Swedish boats, you're getting into 96 knot speed. An extra 5%, that makes a difference. I mean, it does help, and it's quick. Next one I always take is reload torpedo time. I take this on just about all my torpedo boats. It's a big deal for me. I'm okay without taking this one so much, but these two pretty much mainstream for me. The other Destroyer one you get here is Consumable Specialist. This allows you to reduce your time load on torpedo reload boosters, main torpedo reload boosters, reload time, defensive AA. You get the idea. Spotting aircraft. Doesn't really have any benefits to, in this case, a T61, but there are benefits. That's when you look at torpedo reload booster like Shiratsu and other boats you might take, where you actually have a torpedo reload booster. Kitakazi, Haragumo, you get the idea. Japanese boats especially, when you have a torpedo reload booster, it can really, really help. Next one, Destroyer, is time taken to switch shell types. I don't take this for Destroyers because typically reload times are not that bad. When you look at cruisers and especially battleships, very important. I've got captains. This is reduced by 75%. On a cruiser, by the way, you're reloading shell types in 1.5 to 1.8 seconds, so it's a big deal. It's good. But gun feeder, not so much required on Destroyers. Next one is incoming fire alert. This is a 50-50. Basically, if anyone's shooting at you at over 4.5 kilometers, it yells to you and shows you on the screen that with a red incoming. I don't know. I used to take it when I was new to the game because I'd want to see. I wasn't always paying attention to the mini-map or paying attention to the game overall. I won't lie to you, when the Slavic came out, this one was actually kind of neat because I would be watching Slavis from across the screen. But again, today in Destroyers, I don't take it. I know how to maneuver and how to kite away better. This one is a must, preventative maintenance skill. This is a must. Now, this is a specialty captain. Typically, I believe it's 35 to 40% for a normal captain, or at least 30%. But if we're going to Luntons, it's minus 45%. I have a 45% chance of not incapacitating my steering gear, my engine, my torpedo tubes, everything. This one is a must for me in my Destroyers. Next one is fire chance. I'm not sure about this one. Ammunition explosion radius when 15% when attacking submarines. It does kind of help, doesn't help. I'm still learning how to gun submarines and whatnot. I'm not perfect at it, but it does get you an extra fire chance. If you have a Destroyer that's really high in fire chances, and I'm talking 30, 40 range, I'm not aware of any, or really high 20s, you might want to consider taking this. We've already talked about Swift Fish. And then you have this one, Consumable Enhancement, Attack Skills. Hydroacoustic, surveillance radar, smoke generator. It gives you a boost to your skill set. So a boost to your engine boost, a boost to your hydro, a boost to smoke by an extra 10%. So how long they last. It's very worthwhile for some people in ships right now. If I had a higher captain, I might take this, but for me, I don't take it. I don't necessarily need it. I'm okay for now. In my early days, I actually took this quite a bit. But if you're new in Destroyers and whatnot, and you're not sure, and take it. It's good. It's excellent. The next one for me is extra heavy ammunition. Main battery AP shell damage plus 75%. Depth charge damage plus 10%. This is actually really good. I do kind of sometimes switch this out when I'm playing operations, whether it be Aegis or the other ones where I'm in my T61 and whatnot, and I'm attacking cruisers. If you do, even in random battles, when you get cruisers, I'm going to say at even some battleships, mostly cruisers, when you're going to get them at tier 5, tier 6, tier 7, tier 8 cruisers. I've taken this before and actually Citadel to Cleveland. So, I mean, it does help. But again, it's kind of rare when it happens, but it's still, if you're not sure, it's a good skill set. Priority target. How many people are targeting you? This to me is very important because I want to know when I make a mistake. Usually the numbers go up pretty high pretty quick. So again, you want to make sure that you can see who's going to attack you. This used to be a 1 skill, now it's a 2 skill. So I'm kind of 50-50 on the fence, but it's nice to know that people are actually aiming their guns at me. Last stand. If you're a destroyer, this is one of the first skills that you take in this skill set. This is a skill set you take last stand. It's very, very, very important. If you get hit or you get damaged, and if this doesn't cover you, this will. It means that your engine, your movability, your steering, even though they should be becoming incapacitated, they don't. They're reduced, but you still work. You still have engines. You still have the ability to turn, etc., etc. If you don't have this and you get nailed and you're waiting for a minute cooldown and you've got no engines, you're sitting duck. Main battery and AA specialist. This one, again, it's kind of like one of those 50-50 on the fence for a 3-point skill. Your main battery load time is reduced by 5%, and your continuous AA damage is plus 10%. I don't know, if you're in something like the Leningrad or whatnot, which your reloads are really, really high, maybe, but for most of my destroyers, no, I don't see value in this. And destroyers, quite frankly, don't have AA, so we already talked about fill the tubes. Adrenaline rush. Not so much in a lower tier destroyer, but when you get higher tier destroyers, very important. The lower your health gets, the quicker you shoot everything. Main guns, airstrike, armor, reload, secondary, continuous AA, torpedoes, they actually help, especially on torpedoes and main guns. But again, lower tiers, I never take it. This is IFHE, so this is when it'll give you an extra 25% damage capability for HE shells and secondary for HE shells. Now, on battleships, Schlieffen and other battleships, it's crossed out, but I usually take it because it does a good damage. Destroyers, not so much. It can help if you're worried about overpenning, but even this boat can pen 32 millimeters, so I'm good up to tier 8, no problem. Even with battleships and the superstructure, so again, I'm not overly worried about it, but in my early days, I used to take a lot of IFHE. This used to not reduce your fire chances. As soon as you take it, your fire chances reduced by 50%. The only exception to this rule are Japanese destroyers. When you look at the Haraguma, the Kitakaze, the Akatsuki, they don't have that penalty because they're only 100 millimeter, and you might want to take it because they're only 100 millimeter. More consumables. An extra speed boost, an extra hydro, and an extra smoke in this case. Again, if destroyers are going to have quite a bit of consumables, you might want to take this one. And up here, I told you about extending it. So again, that's 7 skill points, not bad. I take it because I want the extra hydro and extra smoke and speed boost. This is Survivability Expert. This will add 350 HP to your ship times your tier. So 6 times, 350. I usually kind of use it sometimes for the higher tiers, tier 8, 9s, and 10s, but never the low tiers. This one, again, this is up to you. This is main battery AA Expert. This will give you an extra 20% range to your main guns and destroyer. This could be pivotal. But the further you get out with destroyer, the more floaty your shells get, the harder to hit. So I'm not sure you want to do that. They'd be kind of good against battleships, I guess. And being able to shoot battleships a little more than 12 kilometers. Again, it's up to you. Continuous AA damage, sure. Destroyers don't have AA, so I don't see the value in this one. For a 4-point skill, no. If it was like 2 or 3, or 2 or 1 rather, maybe. This one's interesting. So your main battery load time is going to be extended or up by 5%. Even on a God A, for instance, tier 6 here, with a 7.5 second reload, you're looking at 7.8, so extra 0.3 seconds. This is not a really big penalty, but when your ship's undetected, you get a speed boost the entire time. So it's great. When you're detected, it slows down your speed. Again, it depends on you. Radar Location Rfp. This one was a controversial skill when it came in the game. This is a 4-point skill. It's always been a 4-point skill, I think. This puts that little white bar above yourself when you actually see your ship, and it tells you the direction of the enemy. Now, if you're the last one and you're trying to hunt down the last destroyer, it's kind of neat and it does help. It really does let you know and warns you. So the higher the boat I go, typically the more I put it in. I'm not overly worried about the low tiers. But from tier 7-ish, tier 8 on, I usually typically put it in because I want to know what's coming around the corner. Because you can, I'm not worried about cruisers or battleships, but you can get jumped by other DDs. And it's important. Next, in third last skill set, Fearless Brawler. Yeah, I don't think I've ever taken this one. Number of shells, explosion, A, salvo +1. Can be active, reduces the main army battery load time after your ship has been detected by the enemy by -10%. Again, this boat reloads in 4 seconds, so you're not even talking a big reduction in time. It's okay to me. For a 4-point skill, if it was 1 or 2 maybe, but no, not me. One that I really do like is Concealment Expert. I cannot stress this enough in DDs. You must have this skill. It's important. 10% reduction in range is very important, especially on destroyers that don't have good range detectability. I'm talking French, IKEA boats, Swedish, and whatnot. So again, very important. And this next skill, this last one, I just discovered this, and this came out in the Captain Skills rework, and I super love it. When my ship is detected, my destroyer, every ship out there gets a plus on their dispersion by 20% for 15 seconds. When you make a mistake, or you have to kite away, or you're not happy, this can be the difference of actually getting into a gun brawl and realizing, holy cow, this one jumps to 4, 5, 6 people targeting you, and all of a sudden you got this 15 seconds where, you know what, they can't exactly hit you that well. It's good. It's great for against destroyers. It's great for cruisers. Battleships already suck, especially German battleships. But you know what? That extra 20% makes a large difference. Not kidding. So it helps you out. I've used this skill now for about, I'm going to say about 6 months on lower tier, mid tiers, and high tier destroyers, and it's been a lifesaver. I mean, no one's perfect in the game. I make mistakes like anyone else, and when you make the mistake now, it's like, ooh, I can now get away without, losing all of my health. So it makes a big deal. And the rest of these skill sets up here are just what Gunter Lunten has. Main battery reload time can be activated once, -7.5. If you ever get Gunter Luntens and you want to see this and go through this, it's this captain is the second one I got. I've got him, Andrew Cunningham, Linguini Santori, as I call him, from the Italian. Yeah, I'm trying to get all of them right now. But yeah, the Resilient Talent, this is fantastic as well. Gets an extra heal. But again, it's great. So I hope that helps. I hope if you have any questions, by all means, leave it down in the chat, in the comments, and I appreciate that. All right, take care. Bye for now.